welcome back to my channel. You guys, I'm excited because today on this travel video we're going to be talking about 15, yes I said 15 helpful tips for planning a trip that you will love. Now, we all know that when you start to plan for a trip, it can be a short trip or a long trip. It can be overwhelming and very much so time consuming, but it can be done. Okay, especially if you're traveling overseas, because there's so many things that you don't want to forget, and there's so many things that you need to do prior to leaving for your trip, and like I said, it can be overwhelming, but I want you to know that it doesn't really have to be. So number one, step one, choose your destination. And that's important because you can't go anywhere if you don't know where you want to go, right? So think about where it is that you want to go. Your first step in how to start planning a trip is to choose a travel destination that meets your interests and your travel budget. And I think you all have heard me say before, you really should have a travel budget. Please do not just go on travel and wing it. Don't ever do that, because you set yourself up to fail by doing that, because sometimes you overspend, sometimes you don't have enough to spend. So you really need to think about what is your travel budget. That's why anytime I look to book travel for people, I always ask them, what's your travel budget? Because see, I need to know where I can look. If you say, well, I want to go on a nice vacation, but my travel budget will only allow me to stay at a Holiday Inn Express, then I need to know that. So I'm not looking to put you up in the Ritz-Carlton somewhere. You get what I'm saying? So you need to have a budget. So are you planning overseas travel or a domestic trip? You need to know that, right? Either way, the whole idea of taking a trip is to have a memorable time, to have fun and relax, and not to spend your whole vacation time worrying about money, because who wants to do that? So how much time do you have off? You need to think about that. Are you off a 3 days, 2 days, a long weekend? Okay, are you off a week, 2 weeks, a whole month? What, you need to know how much time you have off. Are you looking to do a weekend here or there? Do you want a 1 week vacation, or do you want to look at a 2 week vacation, or even a month? Because I actually have met people that once a year they take cruises that are like 28-day cruises. Now, I'm not going to use up all my leave, so I would never do that. Maybe one day. Well, after I retire, I can think to do something like that. But since I work every day, I don't want to waste all my leave. Let me not say waste. Use all of my leave taking a 28-day vacation, but you may have that time and that you want to take off and it doesn't bother you. So then you need to think about, who are you traveling with? That is so very important. Okay, because your travel destination can and will be affected by who you travel with. Is it just you? Is it your another couple? Is it family, other friends, children? Is it just all adults in this group? You know what I'm saying? Your spouse. You need to know who it is that you're traveling with. So then you sit down with the other members of your travel group and discuss your ideas and interests. This is so important. Memorable trips are those where each member gets to experience something that they love. Don't leave it to one person to make all the decisions. I cannot stress that enough, because here's what happens. If you say, well, Michelle, you know what? I just want to go on vacation, right? I have a group of people, and there's 10 of us. And so I say, okay, guess what? I'm going to pick a destination that I love. I'm going to pick some place that offers the things that I want to do. And then you get there. Everybody's excited. You get there, and you're like, ooh, this is so not my kind of a vacation. But you said, Michelle, hey, go ahead and plan something. So I would think that it would be so much better for everybody if you all sit down and talk about it. Because maybe, let's say you're going as couples, and maybe you and your significant other, you like the laid back, quiet, adult only vacation spot. But then you have couple B over here, they like family resorts. And then you have couple C that maybe they need a gay and lesbian resort. I don't know, it doesn't really matter, but you need to know what it is that everybody likes. Okay, so because when you leave the decision to one person, things could take a turn for the worse. That's all I'm saying. So to make a memorable trip, you want to choose a destination that allows you to have experiences that you will enjoy. So you think about things like this. Do you like relaxation or adventure? beaches or mountains, summer or winter, cities or countryside, resorts or road trips, festivals and culture, shopping or food experience, luxury, mid-range or budget. These are all things that you really need to know. Are you the type of person who likes to sit by the pool all day with a book? That would be me, easily. I'm good. You give me my, now I don't have hardback books, but if you know me, then you know my book is on my iPad, and I could sit by the pool all day long and read my little book. Or would this bore you silly, right? Because for some people that may not be what they want to do. By answering these types of questions, you can narrow down your list of where you want to go for your dream vacation. So weather and crowds play an important role when you plan your trip. I cannot stress that enough. For your chosen destination, do you know when the high season and the low season is? These are things you might want to know. If you're fortunate enough to be flexible in when you can take your vacation time, good for you. I give you 2 thumbs up, because everybody unfortunately is not, which is why, here's a little secret, I don't really care for timeshare, because some of them, I think the older ones, you're locked in a set week, and that, every year may not be flexible for you, but that's a whole nother video. Step 2, book flights for your trip. I want to suggest that you go directly to the airlines. I don't use I'm trying to think of websites where you can book your airfare, and nothing's coming to me at the moment, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Go directly to the airline. So if you like to fly Southwest, go to Southwest website. If you like flying Delta, go to Delta's website. If you like flying Frontier or Spirit, whatever, go to those websites directly, because a lot of times they will offer great deals that you can't get on third-party sites. I'm just saying. Now, many of you know that I am a travel agent, and so one of the things that I love about our, I'm going to say, vacation/traverse website when it comes to travel, is that a lot of that airfare is much lower than what you find when you're out here looking at other sites. So I'll put that in the description box. Check that out first. Always, always, always check that link out first, and then go directly to Southwest and see if they're offering something lower, because it might be a better price. You just never know. Step 3, book accommodations for your trip. So where you sleep is your other major fixed travel expense. So choosing the best accommodations for your needs at the best price will free up more money for other activities. So if you're looking to save some money, I would suggest, now this is just me, I would suggest that you stay in a villa or apartment. I love this option. Do you know that every time we go to Florida, we typically stay at the Blue Tree Resort? Now, we used to be owners there of timeshare. Remember, I told you about that a few minutes ago. And we just decided that was not for us, and that was a fixed week. We did not pay more to have a floating week, and we just decided that wasn't going to work. So we sold it back, and we were able to get out of that with no problems. But staying in those villas is amazing. We get the 2-bedroom unit. Like I said, it has 2 bedrooms in it. It has a beautiful kitchen, so you can save money by cooking your meals in your room and not eating out all day, every day. That's why I prefer to stay in these types of resorts as opposed to regular hotels, because, like I said, you just save a ton of money. Last year we were in Florida for our family reunion, and to be quite honest with you, the resort we stayed in slips my mind. I think about it, I'll put in the description box. And it had a nice kitchen. It had a washer and dryer. So before I left, the night before I left, I washed up all of our clothes. So we took clean clothes back home, not a suitcase full of dirty clothes, because I don't like traveling that way either. Because let's face it, you come back on vacation, who wants to wash clothes, right? But it had everything. It had all of the comforts of home. It had a nice living room, and we had 3 TVs. So the room that my daughter was in, she had her own TV. She had 2 full beds in that room. The couch, my other half, he stayed on the couch most of the time. He could watch TV there. I was in the master bedroom. I could watch TV there. And everybody could watch what they wanted to watch. It's super. I just loved it. So villas are your best option, because like I said, all around you are going to save money because you can eat your meals. And so we ate breakfast in the room every day. We ate dinner in the room every day, and I think maybe once or twice we ate lunch because we just happened to be out. It's all about saving money. I'm sorry, let me get back to my notes. I digress. So I talked about having the full kitchens or kitchenettes. Kitchenettes have the stove top, they just don't have the oven. Our room, we had a stove top and an oven. But kitchenettes are fine too. So you can cook some or all of your meals in your room and save a ton of money. So by staying in a villa or an apartment, you also get access to full kitchens, separate bathrooms, separate bedrooms from your living room. You have your own washer dryer. You can book 3 or 4 bedroom homes and split the cost with other friends and family members. This is awesome. The house that we had our girlfriends getaway in, absolutely beautiful. And there were, I'm going to say 10 of us, I think. And we just split the cost amongst everybody, and we had so much fun, and it didn't cost that much. So you always want to make sure that you can book now and pay later. 24-hour customer service and free cancellation, because most of those places, when you book, it'll say you can cancel that reservation up to whatever that date is. Step 4, getting around. Another thing to consider when planning a trip is to find out the transportation options in your chosen destination. Will you need a rental car or pre-purchase any transportation passes online? Is there a train or bus service? Are there taxis or Uber? Can you simply walk to most places? Me personally, I like to stay where I'm near everything, so I don't have to worry about getting on a bus, because I'll probably get lost anyway, and I don't want to have to do a whole bunch of driving around. So if I don't have to rent a car, guess what, I'm happy. So for example, when you visit Sydney, Australia, you need an Opal card to get around on public transportation. So when you visit London, you need an Oyster card for public transportation. During your travel planning research, the transport options for your always research the transport options for your destination. I cannot stress that enough. This will save you time and stress once you get where you're going. Rental cars. If you need a rental car, booking online in advance will almost always get you a better deal than if you just show up at the counter. It's easier and it's quicker. So I cannot stress that enough. Reserve your rental before you get where you're going. Step 5, things to see and do. When you plan a trip, you'll want to know what are the must-visit tourist attractions and the best free things to do in your chosen destination. Popular attractions like Alcatraz in San Francisco and the Sydney Harbor Bridge climb are booked out well in advance. So don't just show up on the day expecting to get in. Research and organize your tickets to any theme parks, zoos, and concerts, etc. And many cities also have city passes that can save you money on attractions. So you want to make a list of free things to do, parks and playgrounds, city tours, and day trips for the areas that you're going to be in. Step 6, places to eat and drink. You can learn a lot about a destination through its food and drink, and you can even plan a trip by eating your way through a destination. You want to research ideas for coffee shops, cafes, restaurants, street food vendors, food trucks, bars, pubs, picnic spots, and then also are there grocery stores nearby where you can get the supplies that you need for your picnic, and famous local dishes. Step 7, check your passport. Shouldn't have to say this, but you'd be surprised how many people want to travel and you haven't checked your passport. So if you're planning an overseas trip and don't have a passport yet, give yourself enough time to apply. You need at least 6 weeks prior to your departure, and preferably as soon as you book your flights and accommodations to get your passport. If you already have a passport, check the expiration date. Most countries require that your passport is valid for 6 months beyond your date of stay, and it has enough empty pages for stamps and visas. Cannot stress that enough. Number 8, know the visa requirements. Do you know the visa entry requirements for your destination, if there is one? Do you even notice a specific visa and how to get one? Or, I'm sorry, do you even need a visa? And if you do you know how to get one? Each country and nationality will be different, and again, don't leave this till the last minute, as it could take significant amount of time to organize. And those things, now you can pay extra and get it expedited, but why spend the extra money? Start now, especially if you think that you want to do something like this that was going to require a visa or passport. Step 9, get immunizations. Are you planning for overseas travel to a high-risk destination in regards to health? Depending on where you plan your trip in a particular country, it's important to get the right advice or any necessary vaccines before you travel. Your safety and health are essential, and in some instances, you can't travel unless you have proof of having been vaccinated. So again, it's something that you want to know before you go. Talk to your doctor or your healthcare professional knowledgeable about travel vaccines. Visit them at least 2 months before departure, as some vaccines need to be started 6 to 8 weeks before departure and require more than one shot spread out over time. You may want to take any records with you. If you've had previous shots. Step 10, make copies of important documents. Can't stress this enough. When you are planning a trip, sometimes your important documents get misplaced. We all have done that at some point in time. Companies can lose your booking reservation, or there is a communication breakdown between the price you paid and the expected service. For peace of mind, always make copies of important documents such as passports, visas, flight tickets, itineraries, hotel reservations, car reservations, tour bookings, driver's license, and credit cards. Now, when it comes to your flight, you guys know that you can book your flight and do your e-tickets. That way you don't have paper copies. It's already in your phone. Print out hard copies and save your confirmation emails into a folder on your web-based email account. Consider leaving copies at home with a trusted person, and and I do this all the time. Leave it, with my family so they'll know where I am and when I'm coming and going. And if traveling with a partner, each carries a copy. Hard copies of certain documents are important, as you won't always have access to the internet to search your email. Step number 11, phone and internet access. These days, almost everyone travels with at least a smartphone. Okay, plus other gadgets that require connection to the internet and a data plan. So research the data plans and your SIM card situation for your destination. Real quick, when I went to Cancun last January, as soon as my plane touched down in Cancun and I turned my phone back on, I had a message. Actually, I do have a message. I had a message saying that, I had a message from AT&T on my phone saying that they realized that I was in Cancun and I needed to call and make sure I set up a data plan so I didn't go over my minutes. So as soon as I saw that, I hit that dial button, talked to a nice gentleman, hooked me up. So now whenever I travel to Cancun or any other part of Mexico, I don't have to worry about changing my data plan. It'll automatically switch over and I'm good to go. In fact, I did it for everybody on my data plan. Number 12, accessing your money. We all want ease and convenience when traveling, especially when it comes to accessing our money. We also want to reduce our bank and transaction fees, right? So the more money we keep in our own pockets, the more we have to spend on travel. International transaction fees can be hefty when using the wrong credit cards and checking accounts. So again, you need to check all of that out before you travel. So how to carry your money. If this is your first overseas trip and you don't know how to carry your money, one of the best travel tips is to have more than one option. So don't just rely on cash only. Don't just rely on cards only. Have a mixture of both. Debit cards are a good alternative to credit cards for when you plan your trip overseas. Not everyone has a credit card, but most people have a debit card. Debit cards also come with either MasterCard or Visa logo, so you can use them everywhere. Everywhere that MasterCard and Visa are accepted. Other benefits is there's no risk of overspending with the debit card because it's your money in the account to start with, not your bank's money. And we're not going to overspend what we don't have, right? Credit cards. You'll almost certainly need a credit card when traveling in order to book flights, rental cars, hotels, etc. online. Providers require this for the security deposit, plus paying with a credit card provides some insurance and security for you. Now, we all know that you can book your flights using your debit card. You can do that because you just use it as a Visa logo. As a Visa or MasterCard, because depending on whatever logo you have on it. If you have a problem with a hotel room or a tour, you can dispute the payment with MasterCard Visa. If you pay cash, it is gone. So you have to think about that. Travel money cards. There are pros and cons to using a travel money card when you plan your trip. These cards are not a credit card. You load up your own money on the card and then access the local currency through international ATMs around the world. So you want to notify your bank. Before you depart, be sure to contact your bank and credit card companies to inform them that you will be traveling, where you're going to be traveling, and when. This is to stop them from putting a freeze on your card if they see unusual transactions overseas. So I learned that the hard way, and I wasn't even overseas. So now when I travel, I let Bank of America know that I'm going to be traveling from this date to this date. So if you see transactions coming in from that area, please do not shut my card down. They are legitimate. Step number 13, purchase travel insurance. Can I stress this enough, you guys? So if you can't afford travel insurance, then you can't afford to travel. Let me just say that again. If you cannot afford travel insurance, you really can't afford to travel. And it's just that simple. Because not having travel insurance on an overseas trip or domestic is not worth the risk. Anything can and will and sometimes does go wrong. If it does and you're not insured, you can be out of a lot of money and inconvenience. And here's the thing. If you don't have travel insurance, let's say you get sick, you have to go to the hospital, you can't go on that trip, honey, you're out of that money because you didn't get the insurance. I would suggest always get it. Step number 14, pack smart. Thinking about packing can be stressful when you're planning your trip, but the best thing to do is pack the bare minimum because you can always buy it when you get there, right? And I encourage your kids to choose and pack their own clothing to minimize complaints and to teach them travel planning skills. I thought that was a great idea. Select versatile, comfortable, and loose-fitting clothing and neutral colors that can be worn in multiple combinations. So if something gets dirty, you only have to change one part of the outfit. So I'm going to leave you. I'm sorry, I have these 5 quick travel tips, but before I do that, let me go into step 15. Confirm your flights and check in online. So the day before departure, confirm your flight times and your transport to the airport. Always check in online. Sometimes I see people at the airport checking in. I'm like, ooh, who does that? Always check in online. Okay. Now here are your top 5 travel packing tips, and I promise I'm gonna let you be. So number 1, know the weather of the destination you're visiting, which helps reduce overpacking, because there's nothing worse than packing stuff that you don't need. Number 2, when flying, take a change of clothes in your carry-on just in case your check-in luggage does not arrive with you. I've had that happen a couple of times where I got to my destination and my bag was not there, but it was later delivered to. In those cases, I was staying at my grandmother's house for my family reunion, so the airline brought the bag out to her house. But guess what? I could have been in a resort and then I don't have anything else to change into. Number 3, know the activities you'll be doing so that you can pack appropriately. Number 4, know the types of accommodations you'll be staying at. If you are staying in hotels, you won't need to take things like towels, hair dryers, or linen because it's already there. Number 5, charge your electronics and load up all your tablets and portable devices with things to read, to play, and to watch. That way you don't have to worry about getting bored, okay? So, real quick, we're going to do a recap and I'll let you be. Number 1, choose your destination. Number 2, book flights for your trip. Number 3, book accommodations for your trip. Number 4, getting around. Know how you're going to get around. Number 5, things to see and do. Number 6, places to eat and drink. Number 7, check your passport. Number 8, know your visa requirements. Number 9, get your immunizations. Number 10, make copies of all your important documents. Number 11, phone and internet access. Number 12, accessing your money. Number 13, purchase travel insurance. Can I stress that enough, you guys? Number 14, pack smart. And number 15, confirm your flight and check in online. Always do that. Do not waste time doing that at the airport. So that's all I have, you guys. Thank you so much to my new subscribers. Thank you so much to those of you that continue to support me in all that I do. I love you guys to the moon and back, and I truly mean it. So until next week, I look forward to seeing you on some great destination in the world, be it here or overseas. I'm sorry, domestic or overseas. Until next time, take care.